Death Wish seems to have a death wish and is decided to take the fight to Liquid Death. For those of you that are not familiar with these two brands, don't worry. The lawsuit is going to fill it in for us. Death Wish Coffee versus Liquid Death. This one is in federal court in California for trademark infringement, false designation of origin, determination of non-registrability of trademark, declaratory judgment, and unfair competition. So what do we got? Trademark lawsuit. Death Wish is one of the largest and most successful premium coffee brands in the country. Since its founding in 2012, it has sold critically acclaimed coffee under its unique Death Wish Coffee Co. registered trademark and associated mark, the Death Wish marks, at thousands of major retail locations nationwide and online. Yes, I see it regularly at Publix. Death Wish brings this action to enjoin Liquid Death from confusing consumers and trading on Death Wish's brand and goodwill by launching competing Death-branded coffee beverages. Straying from its current business of selling sparkling waters under the Liquid Death brand, excuse me, they also sell flat water and flavored water. Not just sparkling water, but okay, go off, I guess. Straying from its current business of selling sparkling water under the Liquid Death brand, Liquid Death recently applied to register the trademarks Liquid Death and Liquid Death Deathachino with USPTO, Patent and Trademark Office, not paid time off, y'all. They want to use Liquid Death Deathachino in connection with coffee and coffee-flavored beverages. Upon information and belief, Liquid Death intends to launch these infringing coffee products in a matter of months, in or around January 2026 or soon thereafter. Liquid Death is well aware of Death Wish's established trademark rights in the coffee market, but plans to launch infringing coffee products anyway. In short, this is a dead-to-rights case of willful trademark infringement. It's a good line, as illustrated by the striking similarities of the parties' existing trade dress. When you look at them, I have no confusion. When you look at them on a shelf, you do not look at Death Wish and go, oh my God, is that Liquid Death? And you don't look at Liquid Death and be like, oh my God, did Death Wish make water? Prior to filing this suit, Death Wish requested that Liquid Death voluntarily refrain from launching the infringing coffee products and withdraw its applications. Liquid Death refused to do so, and it has confirmed that its coffee products are forthcoming and will be made available in the marketplace. The lawsuit goes on to say, meanwhile, in a sign of its disregard for Death Wish's trademark rights in the coffee space and as a harbinger of deliberate infringement to come, Liquid Death has begun advertising its non-coffee energy drinks by claiming that they feel like coffee. Wait, they have energy drinks too? While Liquid Death was years behind Death Wish Coffee and adopting a death-centric brand. Oh my God. The two companies have coexisted because they operate in wholly different market areas. One sells coffee, the other sells sparkling water. The situation even produced some friendly ribbing on social media, as demonstrated by the following March 2nd, 2022 exchange on Twitter, now X. Death Wish Coffee Company, at Liquid Death. How does it feel to be the world's weakest coffee? Liquid Death, at Death Wish Coffee. We're actually water, not coffee. And without water, you are not coffee either. You'd just be Death Wish beanbags. Look, Your Honor, our social media people had funsies on Twitter once. We were flirting. Your Honor, it was all fun and games till they decided to make coffee. We thought we could get along. Death Wish's good faith efforts to avert litigation. Prior to filing, Death Wish Coffee contacted Liquid Death to request it desist from its planned infringement. Do not infringe upon me. Death Wish Coffee's counsel sent a letter to Liquid Death's in-house counsel. Talk about a job. That would be fun. Detailing Death Wish Coffee's trademark rights and explaining the confusion that would ensue if Liquid Death proceeded to launch. On August 5th, Liquid Death's in-house counsel responded via email and stated that Liquid Death would not provide a substantive response until September 5th, 2025. On August 7th, Liquid Death assured Death Wish Coffee that it would not launch the infringing coffee products in the interim. Hey, we're not launching it today. On September 5th, Liquid Death sent a letter responding to Death Wish Coffee's cease and desist. The letter confirmed that the infringing coffee products are forthcoming and will be made available in the marketplace. Liquid Death's letter also generically denied that confusion was likely and included the following comparison to illustrate that the infringing coffee products would look like side by side. Liquid Death has attained prominence in the sparkling water category by inundating internet media and other advertising channels with its promotions for Liquid Death because it's funny. When Liquid Death aims this massive promotional machine at the market for coffee beverages, it's likely to cause reverse confusion and deceive customers into believing Death Wish and the Death Wish marks are associated or affiliated with Liquid Death. Your Honor, they're more popular than we are. First cause of action, trademark infringement. Second cause of action, false designation of order. Remember the purpose of trademark, back to the law. The purpose of trademark is so that you know the thing you are buying is from the company you think you're buying it from. Determination of non-registrability. So they're asking the court to block the Deathachino and to block Liquid Death in the category of coffee. Do not register Liquid Death in the category of coffees. Do not register Deathachino, etc. So they're trying to block their registration. They're asking for a declaratory judgment. Your Honor, tell us we're right. Unfair competition. Your Honor, they're going to destroy all of our hard work. And then their prayer for relief. Preliminary and permanently enjoin defendant from using any version of the infringing marks and any other death formative mark or any other mark that infringes plaintiff's right to the Death Wish marks in connection with the sale, offering for sale, advertising, or marketing of any coffee or coffee-related products in the United States. They want to award plaintiffs reasonable attorney's fees and costs, declare that the unauthorized use of the infringing marks or any other death formative mark in connection with the sale, marketing, or distribution infringes. Don't allow them to register the Liquid Death in the space of coffee and Deathachino. Award plaintiff damages for the willful and intentional unfair competition. Just because you hate it doesn't mean it's unfair. Award such other further relief as the court deems lawful. This post is from October 9th. This is posted from Liquid Death's official Instagram account. Death Wish Coffee LLC versus Liquid Death. That's the lawsuit we just looked at. Liquid Death added them, full chest added them. Death Wish Coffee and its lawyers have filed a lawsuit in an attempt to stop Liquid Death from ever launching our own coffee brand. But we have no real plans to actually launch a coffee. You filed for Deathachino that seems to be a canned coffee drink. Your lawyers said we have a canned coffee drink. So does a coffee flavored drink not count as a coffee? Maybe because it's not beans? Perhaps the executives at Death Wish Coffee are amped up on too much caffeine to be this paranoid about the future, which is why the new CEO at Death Wish, and they name him Steve Gardner, may want to consider trying our new better for you energy drink coming in January. It has 0 sugar, 5 calories, essential vitamins, and a sane level of caffeine. And whether or not we ever go into coffee one day, we don't believe any one company can legally own the word death, regardless of how it's used. And since Death Wish publicly filed their lawsuit against a Liquid Death product that doesn't exist, feel free to let them know on their socials whether or not you support their case. I don't love that. I don't love the brigading. Go tell them they suck. I don't love it. And be sure to listen to some of the great bands like Converge on at Death Wish Inc., the iconic hardcore record label that has been around for over 25 years, long before the coffee brand Skull Emoji Eggplant. Letter number 1. Braun, Heggie, and Borden, LLP, reached out to Mike and counsel Tiffany, all at Liquid Death, with the picture of the Death Wish Coffee Company logo. Dear Mr. Cicero, Miss Lee, I think I pronounced that correctly. Greetings. We are trademark counsel for Death Wish Coffee, the folks brewing strong coffee and cheating death since 2011. We write regarding your company, Supplying Demand Inc., seeking to register USPTO trademarks for Liquid Death and Liquid Death Deathachino in the same coffee market, same coffee product categories, using the same formative name, Death, as Death Wish. And yes, those are all in italics. These infringing applications, and then they list the numbers, were filed earlier this year and are awaiting review. In them, you assert under penalty of perjury a near-term interest in launching Liquid Death coffee drinks, i.e. in competition with Death Wish Coffee. They say that Liquid Death and its many marketing executives and staff have been acutely aware of Death Wish Coffee for years. The brands have engaged in playful banter. You guys flirted with us on social media. How dare you? Nonetheless, you appear to have embarked on an overt invasion of our client's property, not unlike the masked men terrorizing Charles Bronson's home and family in the original Death Wish movie. What? is happening? Also, did you name your coffee after somebody else's intellectual property, the movie Death Wish? It goes on to say, to wit, if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. Liquid Death's infringing applications seek to directly encroach and trespass on Death Wish's long-standing intellectual property to willfully swamp and damage our clients' brands and to undermine and confuse the market. Just like Bronson, our client isn't taking the assault lightly, okay, and intend to spare no expense to ensure the protection of their property. Needless to say, if Liquid Death's home and goodwill were being invaded, you would react precisely the same. If, for example, our client were to launch Death Wish Water. Okay. Accordingly, in lieu of seeking immediate injunctive and other relief, Death Wish is requesting that you responsibly address its concern by A, withdrawing your infringing applications, B, confirming in writing that you will not launch any coffee product using death formative marks or branding. Absent assurances, our client will have no choice but to seek immediate injunctive and other relief to enjoin Liquid Death's intent to willfully infringe on Death Wish's property. Death Wish's success in protecting its brand. Look at what we have done. Death Wish protects its brand and has deep sixed. God damn it. Counsel. We have deep sixed many infringers who have tried to enter the coffee space under death formative marks. For example, Death Wish has obtained multiple federal court injunctions sounding the death knell for infringement. Stop it! Federal court injunctions against death formative marks. No death for you. Death before decaf. Order permanently enjoining defendant from using the mark death before decaf or any other trademark, tagline, brand, trade name, or other mark, including the term death in connection with coffee. Death Wish Coffee versus Death Before Decaf 2023. Death Hell Coffee. Death. Order permanently enjoining defendant from using Death Hell Coffee mark and Death Hell Coffee logo or Death Hell Coffee packaging in connection with the sale or offer for sale of coffee or coffee beans. Death Wish Coffee versus Death Hell Coffee 2024. Death Wish has also blocked the registration of numerous death formative brands. Triple Death Coffee was not allowed to brand Death Wish burritos. What the fuck you got against burritos? But again, Death Wish is too close. And Death Wish discs. Frisbee? Maybe? They have also taken enforcement action against death formative marks. They all are using Death Wish. Your brand is Death Wish. Death Wish Dark Roast, Death Wish Lip Balm, Death Wish Deadlifts. And then Death Coffee and Death Wish Cafe have been removed. September 30th, 2025, regarding Liquid Death's infringement of Death Wish trademarks. Dear sir, as you know, we serve as outside litigation counsel for Death Wish Coffee. We are in receipt of your September 5th response to Death Wish's July 29th demand letter regarding Supplying Demand Inc., SDI, which is Liquid Death's infringing plans to launch death-branded coffee products. Your letter indicates you intend to proceed with its plan to invade Death Wish's marks with forthcoming coffee products. Your letter further admits, Your letter further admits that the infringing coffee products will appear side by side with Death Wish's products in the same retail and marketing channels, leading them to compete on the shelf. We urge Liquid Death to abandon this folly. The fuck? Its intended Liquid Death branded coffee products will confuse consumers, infringe on Death Wish's marks, and irreparably harm Death Wish's brand and business. Your letter attempts to nitpick Liquid Death's claims with a variety of arguments, none of them serious or legally cognizable. Liquid Death asserts that the parties' products will not be confusingly similar because they will include additional words other than death on the label or other design elements. This is a crazy argument. Oh my God. Which we presume Liquid Death's actual ownership and management have not endorsed. Do your bosses know that you made this argument? Counsel? For example, does your client actually admit it would readily invite dozens of sparkling water competitors to invade Liquid Death's brand rights by adding other words to the product? We can think of a few that might catch on. Hard Death Sparkling Water, Water of Deathly Delight, Death Trap Water, Death Defying Sparkling Water. Oh, you're going to tell them what to do, counsel? This is why I hate civil litigation. At this stage, Liquid Death needs to make a decision. Unequivocally confirm it will abandon plans to market its Liquid Death products as coffee or face legal action. Aside from being correct as a matter of law, honoring Death Wish's rights align with your client's professed values and mission. Did you even tell your client you're fighting with us? Even today, Liquid Death's website claims its business was built on an ethos of fair play, using health and humor to conquer the world, and being different from megacorporations. Oh, you mean like Death Wish, who apparently anytime somebody says the word death swoops in with a trademark action? But embarking to steal a pre-existing brand's mark and death territory is not funny. That is their sentence, everybody. It is precisely the kind of big bad bully activity which Liquid Death once lamented. And aside from wasting money and reputation, will directly expose Death Wish's own brand and marks to infringement from others who will parrot its admissions that using death, combined with other words, cleanses a competitor of infringement. Please confirm in writing no later than October 6th that SDIA will not launch any coffee beverage using death formative marks, marketing, or brand name. B, withdraw its infringing trademark applications. And C, not become the kind of corporate thief that it has professed not to be. This is not the same kind of lawsuit that we are seeing in other places that we have covered. This is Death Wish Coffee coming in and saying, death to you. They are saying that this case is dead on arrival. No, they said that this case was a winner dead to rights. Okay, I'm just about done. But Death Wish is saying that Liquid Death has filed trademark requests or trademark applications in the coffee space, and that they are the death forward coffee, and that there shall be no death for you, and that Liquid Death is infringing on their goodwill and their trademark, and highlighted that they have been successful in keeping others out of the coffee market, things like death before decaf and others, because they are confusing. So we will see what Liquid Death does when they respond. I think the funniest part of all of this was the letters back and forth between the lawyers, though the letters from Liquid Death were not included. But on social media, Liquid Death said we had no intention of launching a coffee. They did file trademark applications for Deathachino, Liquid Death Deathachino. They have also filed trademark applications for things like Liquid Death Mountain Don't, which is presumably one of the flavors like what I have, which is Dr. Death. It is a Dr. Pepper adjacent sparkling water. And they're also launching, apparently in January, energy drinks. So is Deathachino a coffee flavored beverage and not coffee? I don't know. Are these in the same space or adjacent spaces? I guess we will see. But the letters from Death Wish saying, like the movie Death Wish, you are invading our home, I imagine riled in-house counsel enough to be like, oh yeah? And so Liquid Death did respond on social media and say, we had no intention of it. Maybe your new CEO is a bit jittery from your coffee. Maybe you should take it down a notch and try our new energy drinks. So we'll see how much this feud plays out on social media. I think Death Wish also accused Liquid Death of flirting with them and then invading their space. It's like, but you were so nice to us on Twitter that one time. You noticed us in 2022. I'm interested to see what happens with this, or if the parties are able to resolve it saying, okay, well, a coffee flavored energy drink is not going to be substantially confusing. But to me, the brand identities are completely different. And if you are looking for a Death Wish product, it is pretty clear the labeling and logoing that Death Wish is Death Wish and Liquid Death is like big dripping skulls. Like it's not the same branding. And I don't think just the word death makes these two brands confusing, but we're going to have to wait and see what the trademark office says and, well, ultimately what the court says. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the Law Nerd app at lawnerdapp.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.